the past 9 years or so, we at the ROM have been in the business of rebuilding much of the physical infrastructure of this place, renovating the original wings around us here, building a new out here in the Daniel Libeskind designed Michael E. Crystal, and reaching into our 6 million or so specimens and objects to bring them out to much more profusion into all sorts of new galleries. All this was necessary for any museum that is defined by its collections and had fallen behind on their accessibility. Many collections stranded up in the vaults and down the vaults. But this hardware phase of what we've been doing is coming to an end as we near completion, and sets the stage for a more complete picture now at this museum. That picture must include what you might call the software, much more the software, what those collections are all about, what they mean. Publication of this particular book, one of many he has done on one, where he specifically addresses the Ten Commandments among other highlights in various religious texts. Just in conclusion, in his book, Mr. Hitchens also discusses the famous Burgess Shale fossils, evidence for the Cambrian explosion of complex life in the ocean some 520 million years ago. It so happens that the ROM, this museum, is the largest holder of these fossils in the world, which suggests it's a cosmopolitan museum indeed, attended by a cosmopolitan audience. I think that needs to be addressed by a cosmopolitan individual, Mr. Christopher Hitchens.
Thank you, William, for that unpardonably terse and economical introduction. Grudging, almost, in its brevity. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. Thank you to the ROM, some of whose wonderful collections I had the opportunity to tour today. I'd like to dedicate such merit as this lecture may possess to the memory of the great Thomas Paine, that the bicentennial of his death will fall on the 8th of this month, next week. Thomas Paine, as well as having originated the American Revolution and tried to make it more radical by calling for the abolition of slavery, also played a good part in the French Revolution and tried to make it less absolutist by opposing, for example, the application of capital punishment to members of the former regime, and said rather beautifully that to have had part in 2 revolutions was to have lived to some purpose. He also is the originator, at least in the popular mind, of biblical criticism. His Age of Reason was the first attempt to bring within the purview of those who were just learning to read, the newly literate, the artisan class, the idea that the one book that they all knew, the holy text, might not be holy writ, after all. I was Xeroxing a couple of pages of Deuteronomy yesterday in my hotel, looking exactly as I look now. And of course, as you start to do that, it runs out of paper and malfunctions, so I had to summon one of the very nice clerks at the hotel who said, as he laid the Holy Bible flat and ran off some Deuteronomy for me and some Leviticus, "What are you preparing a sermon?" And I said to myself and to him, "I cannot tell a lie," and I said, "Yeah," and then because I can't tell a lie, I said, "You might say that." Now, a word of preparation. Gore Vidal was once sitting with Sir Noel Coward and said to him, as one massive old darling to another, are you telling me you absolutely never, ever had any sexual contact at all of any kind with any woman? And Noel Coward said, "Certainly not." And Gore said, "You mean not even with Gertrude Lawrence?" And Noel Coward said, "Particularly not with this one." Well, I'm a critic of all religions and of all faiths, but the one with which I particularly don't agree is the one in which I was raised, and the one which I love still. That's to say, the Anglican Communion, the Cranmer Prayer Book, the English hymnal, and the King James Bible. So when I make any references in direct quotation or speech, it'll be to that, but not some terrible good news text from heaven knows where.